Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it, you already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. This is a good one. Let's get to the intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So what happened last night? Man, a lot of things happened, man. No jumper popped off. Got a little racial, right? And then Marvelous, Mr. Marvelous decided to go live and utilize everybody from the YouTube yarda, right? Everybody's picture, everybody who's considered affiliated or associated or part of this imaginary YouTube yard, he decided to put their faces on the thumbnail and go live and speak on some situations that have basically come up lately. Situations that I have decided myself as a man to just let go of, right? Because basically I think that that's the best thing to do, to take the higher road, to be the bigger man and to say, Charlie, homie, you know what I'm saying? You can get a little bit of clout off my name. But that's it. Now, in Marvelous doing so, I have no issues with it. There was a lot of people getting in myself and Dub's live last night, and they were trying to instigate or antagonize. And hey, you know, Marvelous is using your picture, and Marvelous is this, and Marvelous is that. Look, whatever you believe Marvelous is, that's your own opinion of him. Your opinion and my opinion might not match, homie. We might not gel. Okay, we might not be gelling. But that doesn't mean I'm going to disrespect you or you're going to disrespect me. That just means that I don't have to dislike everyone you don't, and you don't have to dislike everyone I don't. And we can do it pushing respectfully. So Marvelous utilizing everybody on the YouTube yardas photo for his thumbnail, I have no issues with it. Not whatsoever. Just based on the fact that any man can speak on whatever he wants. You know, I've come to that understanding. I used to not be like that. Shit, about a month ago, I wasn't like that, you know, but I realized in a situation like social media, we cannot control what is not to be controlled, right? We need to just carry on, keep on moving, don't stop, you know, soul to soul, just keep doing our thing, soul to soul. And eventually everything's going to pan out in the wash. Eventually, those supporters, man, that see us for what we are going to know we are what we say we are, right? If they're gamed up. Now, there's different types of people. There's people on YouTube, especially in the prison genre, the YouTube yard, that will give you game, like myself, trying to prevent you from going through some of the situations and obstacles that I did. People like myself, people like Rascal from the Homie Hangout, Dubs. Our whole intention, I'm sure, with this YouTube social media thing is to game you up, give you game, where there are those other content creators who have decided not to give you game, but to give up game. Two different things, right? Sounds similar, right? Sounds similar, but there's a big difference between giving you game and giving up game. I choose to do the first. I choose to go through door number one and give you game rather than give up the game, right? It's not politics, prison politics, and these certain situations, man, are for not to, we could talk about certain situations we've been involved in politics that have happened when we were there, but to expand upon it, that is not our job. I'm like a Mac Dre video. That's not my job, right? That's her job to get up and make chorizo and papas. My job is to just give her the chorizo and her papa. That's my job, right? That's just how it is. So last night, Marvelous decides to do this live, and he's airing out all possibilities. He's airing out a lot of different situations, how he feels about what's been going on the YouTube yard lately, what he feels on his personal level about certain people. And like I said, anyone could talk about whatever they want. That's their prerogative, like a Bobby Brown song. You cannot dictate another man's program. I learned that the hard way, and I learned that the real way. Okay? Well, for those that don't know, Rascal from the Homie Hangout, man, I got a lot of respect for that man. A lot of respect for that man. He's very analytical. He puts out good content. It's well thought out. And, you know, he's a perfect fit for this YouTube stuff. Like, he has the charisma. He has the willingness to express intellect. And he does it smart, right? He knows what he's talking about before he talks about it. He does his homework. Not very many people do their homework. Gunner, you don't do your homework. I fucking don't do no homework. I just get up on this motherfucker and just I think we all know by now, right? I try to give you the most facts that are relevant to content, but I'm not going to sugarcoat or add preservatives or lie to you guys. Guard! Old school shit. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to be real and tell you what's on my mind at that particular time concerning that context of content. And it could go we can go left, right? It can go any different direction it goes. I can't even talk this morning. I drank too many pistols. The pussy was good too. Anyways, right? So I'll say this. I've always respected Rascal's analytical ways of thinking, the content he puts out. But I think we all know by now, man, when the whole Marvelous situation came up, and I hate to fucking drill that and keep going in on that because I think that's old news, right? That's his news. And there's a lot of different mixed emotions and mixed opinions when it comes to Marvelous, right? And the situation. All I can say is I'm not going to dwell on that. It's none of my business. And I think that as a man, you know, who knows what's up and is good at judging people based upon, and we're not supposed to judge anyone, but we all do it, right? Judging people based on the content of their character. I could say, man, hey, I wasn't the fucking cucaracha in the room, so I don't know what's the truth and what's not the truth. But the truth is, I'm not going to be a man that's going to sit here and talk about that, right? But we know that Rascal made videos in the past, homie Hangout, man, about the Marvelous situation, as we all did, right? And Marvelous was feeling some type of way about Rascal. I think he felt that Rascal disrespected him, when I don't believe that's what was Rascal's intentions. I believe, and this is just my opinion, that Rascal was just stating his opinion and how he feels adamantly about situations that Marvelous was caught up in, right? Now, when you're talking about another man, right off the top, that's a form of disrespect. Let's be real. But when you're a public figure, you open the doors to that. Okay. And you have to understand that, albeit you might feel some type of way, that's not the way everyone else feels, right? Everyone else wants to hear what's going on. Everyone else likes the drama. They like the hearsay. They like the caca. They like the mierda, right? They like to smell it. And if you're the one that could analyze people and put the business out there in a respectful fashion, but being true to yourself, then why not? I believe Rascal's videos that he did were pretty good. I believe he stated his opinion. He said what he had to say, and he moved on from that context, right, of content. He moved on. But last night, Marvelous does a video, and he utilizes not only mine and Dub's picture and American Cholo and a couple other people's pictures, but he also uses Rascal's. And I can understand Rascal way of thinking. Yes, he is part of the prison genre, whether he likes it or not, whether I like it or not. This is a situation in a yard that we were dragged into, right? Because we spoke on our past experiences in prison, and we continue to do so to some form or fashion, right? We are considered now part of the YouTube yard. It's just something we're gonna have to deal with. When the prison genre was popping, everybody wanted to be a part of it, and now that it ain't doing so well, everyone's like, "Fuck that," and I'm one of them, right? But we're here now. And because Rascal's face was utilized, I could see Marv's way of thinking. Marvelous decided, you know what, I'm going to put all these different guys whose names have come up, because he was directing his wrath at one particular person. But in the midst of doing that, he started to mention Rascal's name. And you can see the distaste and the dislike for Homie Hangout, for Rascal's channel, and for Rascal's ways of thinking towards him. Okay, you don't have to get along. You don't have to like the person because of things they've said about you. But you do have to be respectful to some degree if you're a man that pushes that line. If you're a man that is an educator, a maestro, and someone that teaches people about cultura and the raza and unity and getting along and our deep, rich history, then at some point you have to recognize a man's accomplishments in this Mexicano fucking genre of prison politics and all that, right? And you have to just keep it respectful. But in the midst of doing his live, he mentions Rascal, right? And sheds a kind of a bad light on Rascal. That's his feelings. Again, that man's also entitled to how he feels. Well, I know Rascal's history. I know of Rascal, right? I've done my homework with Rascal. Rascal's no sucker, and he ain't no punk. And he might let you say things, but he's not going to just bow down. He's going to speak his mind, and he's going to pull up. So Rascal tries and attempts to pull up to Marvelous's live to address him. And in doing so, he gets blocked. And I'm not saying that Marvelous did that, but whoever are his moderators or whatever, they blocked Rascal. Quite understandable. When you have someone that you have beef with or you don't want to deal with or converse with, then the natural thing to do on your channel is block them because you feel that they're only going to bring drama or you just don't agree. There's only that it can go left very quick rather than go right. So for whatever reason, they blocked Rascal. Is that the chicken shit thing to do when someone's trying to pull up and get on your live and contest what you're saying about them or address the situation? In the street life, in the gang world, in the motherfucking gangster era, yeah, that's a little chicken shit, right? But I'm not saying Marvelous is chicken shit at all because who's to say he did that? Other people blocked Rascal, I'm sure, moderators, just because they seen him come in and they're like, oh, brother, we don't want this guy to, because we're talking about two very educated individuals here. That conversation needed to be had in essay, right? That was very not confrontational, but conversational. Two educated guys. Rascal figures a way around it and calls in, pulls up, calls in to voice his opinion. And they had a conversation. I thought it was a well thought out, very well placed conversation. You know, I respect Rascal for doing what he did and for pulling up and doing that. See, it shows a lot about a person's character when you could sit down and talk and you guys can iron things out or figure things out. You don't have to agree. Look, Rascal is being accused of calling Marvelous a PDF. Okay, that's what Marvelous has repeated several times, that's what Rascal called him. When in Rascal's defense, Rascal did call him a predator and not a PDF, right? And however you want to look at that situation is how you look at it, right? When it comes to me, I don't know what that man is besides an educated scholar in his genre, okay? Do I agree with the situation and the circumstances? No. But again, when there's so many different stories going around, I don't know what to believe, man. I'm going to take my own judgment and run with that. You know, I figured, yeah, I'm not the shit stirrer and the drama starter when it comes to this whole situation. But dispensa, I got you guys on the next one, right? I just don't feel like disrespecting a man that has never disrespected me when I don't know what the fuck is going on. Now, when it comes to the Rascal situation, Rascal is the type of individual who's going to call it as he sees it. And after looking into the situation, that's what he came up with. That's what he felt. He felt there was some type of predator tendencies. And I understand, man, it's kind of like the SPM situation, right? And I'm not trying to bring that in to judge Marv or put him on that level, right? There's a lot of people that support that guy and a lot of people that are against that guy. No, if you really look into the facts, you really look into the court proceedings, if you really look into all that, then you can make your own assumption on how you feel. I've done that. And my assumption is that dude's caca on every level. And there's people, you're just a hater. Hating what? An old man rotting in a cell for touching a 9-year-old? I don't think so. Okay, no hate right there. Oh, you just don't like him because he's from Texas. Shout out to all my fucking homeboys and primos in Tejas. They know what time it is. They don't fuck with dude either. If you do, you got to screw loose. That's how I feel. Marvelous situation is totally different, right? And you guys can take it for however you want. I know in a great world, man, he doesn't want to be a part or even in that type of conversation mentioned when it comes to any type of weird stuff. And I get him, right? Now with Rascal, like I said, Rascal was quick to pull up and voice his opinion. And, you know, I can say this, man, Rascal's done that with me in the past. In the past, man, when we used to beef, when we used to go back and forth, when we used to have conversations that weren't the greatest conversations, you know, one thing I could say about him is he never bowed down. He never just disappeared. He always stood up for what he believed, stood on that 10 toes down, and that was that. And I respect it. Whether you like to hear it or not, whether you agree with it or not, you got to respect it. So Rascal pulls up last night. Everyone's like, oh, this drama. Rascal came for the drama. He's just trying to do this. He's just trying. No, I don't believe so. I believe he was standing on his 10 for what he believed. Now, whether Marvelous accepted it, agreed upon it, liked it or not, you have to respect the man for doing that. You have to respect the man for saying, nah, if you're going to use my picture, if you're going to speak on my name, if you're going to say this or that, Let me go ahead and call in and let you know exactly how I feel and how I came to the conclusion of that content. Can you hate on it? No. Is there some big fucking gigantic beef between Marvelous and Rascal? No. People will try to stir the pot. I mean, there was people all up in our live last night talking about, hey, Marvelous, use your picture. Marvelous, use your picture. So what, homie? This is fucking America. You can use it. Look at, want me to stand up? Pull my chorro out? You guys want to use that picture? Right? So that's, I don't know if you have enough film. But I'm going to say this, though. Anyone could do anything they want to do. Whether you respect it or not is totally up to you. Does your opinion matter to you and the people that support you? But to the greater cause, not really. But I respect what Rascal did last night. And I respect the response in which the conversation was had in. Okay? Now, does this mean that there's going to be some videos made and beef and look, I'm sure Marvelous is a proud man. He's a father. He has a life and he's proud. And I seen what he was saying. And basically what he was saying, and it's to put my opinion on it, right? It's hard to word it. When it comes to Marvel, it's a delicate situation. That's I don't want to be disrespectful, but at the same time, when it comes to that whole situation, you know, even myself and Dubs, when we chose not to really talk about it, there was reasons for it. One, we were not trying to, we didn't know what the fuck was going on. We were bombarded just like everyone else. And second of all, we didn't want to put that man and his family in a dangerous light or to paint a bad picture on him in a dangerous situation. He's out there in LA. He's wiggling around. He's going to car shows. He's doing tattoos. He's living his life just the way he was living it before all the mess, right? And lo and behold, with the feds and cops and everybody that watches, especially the prison genre, and we already know they're tied in with No Jumper and Vlad and all that, right? We didn't want to be the bearers of bad news, be the type to just start drama for clicks and views. Sometimes views and money is not worth it. Sometimes, right? It's not worth it. And what would have happened if Marvelous is out there with his children and he would have got hurt? Something bad would have happened to him. I know a lot of you are saying, well, fuck it. He deserves it. His children don't, though. His family has nothing to do with anything. Whether you, however you feel, and I could agree to some points with you guys, but the kids don't. A man will stand on his and should stand on his, but if he's out there in public, it could be a situation where people can get pepper sprayed, people can get hit with keys, people can get beat up. You know what I mean? You just never know. When it comes to Rascal's ways of thinking, he was just putting content out there. And Marvelous felt bad because Marvelous was trying to say, hey, man, this guy, by saying these things, he could have got me hurt. No, not really. I mean, it's not the best thing, but that's his channel. He was speaking his real, right? But to be totally honest with you, poor decision-making is what could have got you hurt. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, poor decision-making. You know, you could have been tricked. You could have been fooled. You could have been everything. But what does that make you when you're trick and fool? That makes you a trick and a fool, right? I know I've been in situations where I've been fooled by people I thought were going to pay me my money back. Shit like that, right? Never to this degree situation, but you know, we've all been fooled a time or two. But it's time for the gente to stop being foolish and to be accountable for all our actions and just move on or don't. You know, I respect Rascal for pulling up last night and speaking his piece, man. Was he trying to cause drama? Was he trying to inflict more punishment as far as that conversation goes? Damn, I'm losing my voice right now. She gave a mean ass mamon last night. I'm all out of energy. Back to the content, right? And she was well over 30. We'll just say that, right? I just got to say, man, before people jump on this and try to make this something bigger than it is, respect the game. Okay, respect the way it's played. Rascal showed you the way it's played. How a real man with integrity pulls up and can have a conversation. If more people did that, if more people were willing to do that and listen and hear people out, then and only then would we be able to get our shit together as the gente. You know, I've tried to, that people with I've had disagreements with, I've tried to let them on my channel have a conversation, and they come in hot, heavy, fire, spewing dragon fire, right? And it's just like, whatever, man. And then they get me out of my element because I'm a man. I got pride. And I'm like, well, fuck you then, right? I'm glad that these guys didn't have that fuck you moment. They could agree to disagree and move on. That's respectful. You know what I'm saying? I know Marvelous is going to feel how he feels about it, but when you utilize someone's picture and you're talking about them in the negative, They're going to pop up. You know, and I believe Marvelous would do the exact same thing. He has shown that type of characteristic. That characteristic is not in every man, the pull up or the pop up, right? Only real ones do that. That's all I got to say about that. Anyways, man, for all you drama starters that are going to try to take it and make it into drama, it wasn't, man. It was actually a good thing. You know, two men that have a disagreement could talk. How that ended, well, that's up to them. And that was on them. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Let me know what you guys think. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. Do I got bangers for you today? A lot.